Does anyone else's dog lie on pillows and cushions because they must just copy us and do it? But anyway, that's not what I'm here for. You're probably saying no to a lot of money. So the old adage, the guru adage was, have a product, start your coaching program and charge $2,000 a month for it and give people access to a community, access to some training and access to some calls, right? Pretty typical advice. It was very much do this, package this up, bundle these things together and stick to the price and grow it. It's not terrible advice. Focus and bundling things is a good strategy. But in the course of that, what happens is that you come across most people who A, won't buy it, or B, can't buy it for differing reasons. Differing reasons because they state or they can't afford it. Differing reasons could be like they're in the middle of and they're investing in something else and they can't allocate funds to it, but they plan on investing in the future. So there's the I can't and not now things. And what is interesting when I'm, whether it's during my mentorship and people ask me questions or some of my coaching clients is they get a lot of these people who are trying to give them money. And if my clients, and I've been there myself, are too rigid, you say no to a lot of people who are trying to give you money who could be potentially great clients because you're rigidly fixed on having one offer, one product, and bundling them all together in one way. And this came up during the week when a client was like, he works with athletes, and he had a pro athlete come to him, and he's like, I know you coach so-and-so, and I really want the same coaching as them. And he's like, I can do. You're in a different sport, but you're a professional athlete, and I'd love to work with you. Here's the price for my coaching program. And the guy said, who was from a different sport, which doesn't have the financial means of his primary sport that he coaches with, said, that is too expensive for me. And he came back to me, because this isn't a common thing for him, and he came back to me and said, what do I do? And I said, well, these are the things that you give your clients in coaching. You give them access to this, you give them access to a community, you give them access to training, you give them access to a forum where they can all get together, and you give them access to calls. I said, what parts are you prepared to give to this guy and what parts are you prepared to take away to effectively unbundle the offer you've got in order to work with this person? And I said, if it's a priority to work with this person and you really want to work with them, then it's up to you to find a way to do that works within the stated objection that they have. And this goes against a lot of the old advice, if you like, which is just handle the objection. Like, if you can't afford it, then go and get financing. If you can't afford it, borrow the money. If you can't afford it, then you can't afford it, so you can't have it. Whereas there's a ton of people out there turning down great people because they are rigidly fixed on saying the price is the price and that's it. And if you think about all services, they do not have a proven price. They are in price discovery all the time. They are in what the market will pay for them. And frankly, you've just made up the components of it. You've just made up the price and probably modeled it from what other people sell. And to say that you go out there and this is it, and this is the only way to do it, is a very, very rigid and restrictive way of doing business. So in the course of me opening the syndicate again and putting the price down and these things, I've had conversations with people who are like, I invested $3,000 in November and I got this and this, what can we do? I'll apply credits, I'll apply partial credits, I won't change the ultimate bundling like I'm talking about now, but I have a huge amount of flexibility when people are coming to me and saying, James, I want to work with you and I want to work out how, and I want to give you more money. And if I decide that that is, within the bounds of what I'm prepared to do, and I feel that the person is genuine, authentic, and they're motivated and they're committed to that, usually I judge by the communication that we've had, then I will work out ways to do it. I will take things away. I will unbundle them. I'll change the payment terms. I'll change the pricing. As long as the integrity of what I believe that is the integrity of the offer in terms of the things that somebody needs and the core components, etc., as long as they are in there, then I will be extremely flexible for the right person. I will also be extremely inflexible if I judge someone as the wrong person. And on both sides, I don't always get that right. And I'm willing to admit, I reject a lot of offers from people that I probably shouldn't reject. And I create flexibility and offers and make people, and sometimes bend over backwards to get people that in hindsight I shouldn't have. And I still do that. And I'm still going to do that, because if someone is offering, is showing their commitment and they want to do something, then it's up to me to discern whether I am prepared to do it, what I'm prepared to give them, what I'm prepared to take away, if it's a pricing thing, a duration thing, a length, and those things. The only things that I pay attention to is like, what is the core of what they're getting? If I strip out too much of this, then does it eliminate the value? And am I guarding my time and energy? And outside that, pretty much anything goes, and I'll be as flexible as I need to. And one of the reasons that I have a lot of sales, I've generated a ton of money, etc., is I'm always looking for ways to say yes to the money if I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm also looking for ways to say no to the money when I think it's the wrong thing to do. And this discernment and this, the strategically bundling and unbundling things, having discernment on, the person, gets me out of the rigidity of like, this is the offer, and as long as you've got a pulse and you can breathe and you've got a credit card, then if you can give me $2,000 a month, then I'll say yes. And that's not discernment, that's just selling. That's just saying, the qualifying criteria is that they can pay. And a lot of people in services operate like that. If they can pay, then they're right. And if they can't pay, then they're wrong. And that is a very binary and very rigid way, and it's a very good way to leave a ton of money on the table, and it's a very good way to not capture the best clients, and it's also a very good way to capture some of the worst clients, because just because someone can pay doesn't mean they make a good client. And so with Matilda pushing me in the back repeatedly, probably because she wants something to eat soon, that's my wrap. I think, the focus piece, have one product and those things can take people a long way. Bundling and saying, this is what I sell, this is who it's for, this is the price, and fixing on that is great until it's not. And in a lot of cases, as markets shift and as circumstances shift, then having flexibility and ways to bundle and unbundle things can tap into new levels of growth without any additional pain or stress, because you're just bundling and unbundling things that you can deliver, and actually tap into new levels of growth, but also create new opportunities with people who are right there right now. And they're the simplest people to sell to. There are people in your world right now who, frankly, you've just made it too difficult to buy from you. And if you make it easier and simpler to buy from you, and you take the money off the table, then you might find some of those people getting started with you is the best thing that ever happened to both of you. So look at that and think about the flexibility of it, because it could make a gigantic difference.